Hello, Mary, everybody. It's MicheleMarieDalene. It is the 13th of February. It's my birthday today. Officially on the big 5-0, but that's not unexpected. I mean, after all, you only age. I haven't seen anybody de-age yet. In a sense, I've never seen anyone become children. But there are, of course, people who act like children, and then there are people who are children but act so old that you think that they are old men and women in the bodies of children. And then you have people who kind of are balanced out in the sense that they act their age. And I would say that for the first few hours of the being the big 5-0 is no different than being the big 49. If I'm going to look at computers and power, people talk to me about laptops versus desktops. I'm going to just briefly cover this. A person who is legally blind, a laptop is like singing an Iron Maiden. Do you want to talk about how hard it is to work this thing? You're crunched up like this. Let me use this magazine. It's a perfect example of this. Okay? But then it's a laptop. Okay? Laptop's more stuff. You're crunched up like this. And you're trying it. And you're moving the cursor around. And you're trying to do something. And you can barely see the shitty screen. And you're on. It's really, really painful. Really not at all a solution to, to record Miracle on Us. Anyway, I haven't even read this yet. But the whole point is, it's just that, pick your poison. You get your screen really all crunched up and you're all, is that what you want when you're handicapped if you're legally blind? You really want to be crunched up like that all those hours a day? My back takes a killing now. I would like to have, people, trying to understand this here. People will type like this, right? They have the screen in front of them, the laptop like this, it's on the table, and they can see, they got good vision, so they can see the screen from here. Me, it has to be up here. It has to be covering my face so that I can see the screen. And I also discovered another notorious habit, is that I can only see a small portion of the screen. So to give you an idea how my vision is, here's the address label. Okay? It's almost the size of the area of the screen I actually can see it once. Okay? So what I do is I have to pan through the screen like this to read it in front of my cursor. And boy, does it take a long time to do anything on graphical browsers. The iPhone is kind of compromised because in the iPhone I can see the whole screen. But then again, everything is so physically tiny and it's it's hard to get my little fingers, and they ain't so little, trust me, they're kind of big, kind of fat fingers. It gets harder. So, one of the things that the next Christian asked me, he said, the NCC said to me, is, are you upset about the fact during what happened in December? And I tried to explain to him that because of my eyesight, because of the way I have to look at the screen, because I have to manipulate the software to switch between cameras and everything, and multiple windows, and I had the hardest time with the mouse pointer, it really is very difficult to keep up with every single question to come off the screen real fast, because I may not see them all. I don't think they go whoop like that, especially with those lot of people whoop, and what did this guy say to me about 550 or 14 comments before? And I'm like, the 14th comment is already scrolled off because I can only see 5 comments at a time on my screen. So, for a lot of reasons. Number one is I make it big enough so that people can, when I'm mirroring the screen onto the chat, so that people with iPhones can see the screen. Which for people using it on big monitors really don't gain so much by it, but the people on iPhones do. So I try to come up with a compromise. But that means that I only get so much real estate, and it's just going to go bloop, right off the screen, and I'll never see it. And then people think I'm trying to be rude. And then, of course, there was also a lot of noise associated with people calling me all those horrible things back in December. It really made it difficult. And that's why I needed helpers. But my helpers decided that we should just go ahead and start blocking and banning. And that was where we got into this problem. And I don't really... Talking to a couple of other YouTube producers, they say, don't do that, don't block them, because it gets them all angry and it gets them all upset with you, and then they leave, but then they tell their friends you suck, and then they tell their friends that you suck, and then all of a sudden your user base drops like flies, and that's what happened. And I think it's reasonable to understand that. Okay, so you can't block them, but that means if you're not going to block them, and then the chat's coming like my Twitter feeds do. Ding, 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 ding. Like, it's super fast. And I'm only like reading the last few lines. It's like, they go off the screen before I can read them. And then that's hard too. Especially since that same feed is being mirrored to everybody else on the live stream. And they're probably saying, why didn't she respond to that question? Well, probably because I didn't see it. It's already happened a few times. But I didn't see the comment. How can I respond to it? Or because of the lag associated with the fact is that I'm reading the questions, but you typed a message, say, 10 seconds ago. Even if it was the very last line, I got them on the screen. Okay, I see it, I read it, right? And then I respond to it. You're not going to get a response back until about 10 seconds later because I have to read the comment. And then I have to compose it. And then I compose it by speaking what I'm trying to say. There's a little bit of a lag here. So, like when TNCC asked me, says, do you think that maybe you're not capable of really doing a good job on these live streams because of that reason, because of your handicaps? Yeah, I think so. But you know what? Here's the thing. I don't want people to think ouch. Pain. I'm not saying I don't want... You're digging a claws at me. I don't want people to think I don't care. I just wish I can explain it. The comments are good because when I get comments to the videos, I can read the comments one at a time. That doesn't mean I'm always going to be able to read them and get a 100% comprehension. I may have a hard time with certain types of phrases used in modern comment dialogues today. There's a series of shorthand some people use in the comments that are hard to read. They're similar to leet. If you ever seen things like the letter H and then the 8, the number 8, so it says hate, 8's the number 8. Okay, that's leet. It's a shorthand that was created originally for texting. It's still used for that purpose, but I still run into that now and then. PWND versus the word owned, OWNED. I don't know where that one came from, but with the P instead of the O, but it's another form of leet. So I have to have, in my head, I have to remember all these different dialects of message reading, and it takes me a while to go through it all. Because my generation, we didn't use as much of that crap. I wouldn't call it exactly crap in the sense it's not really fair, but we had our own language, but it was a lot less sophisticated because we were using it at the time of bulletin boards. And in most bulletin boards, people didn't really type big long sentences because people were only connected at 1200 and 2400 bits per second and using a dial-up modem. And there's just people who typed in big long encyclopedic references kind of got the more of it. Because we had to read all that comment, and it took us a while. Because it would be scrolling off the screen. So if this guy was doing the equivalent of writing the equivalent of a Wikipedia article, all of a sudden it's like, whoa, dude, I'm only connected at 2400 bits per second. So everything is coming across my screen at 240 characters per second. Which may seem pretty fast, and it is. But, again, when you're legally blind, and the screen is going, boop, 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 boop. And then you see at the bottom of the screen, more, Y, and equal. Equal means non-stop in Opus CBCS and also Maximus. So, if I was to use it non-stop, I would have to open up my capture buffer and my CB term, and then hit equal, and then enter, and then I'd get this piece go like down. But then I still gotta back up and read it. So my generation, we had our own way of doing things that worked out great at that time. But today's technology still, and I'm not talking about the handicapped here. I'm not talking about the legally blind. In today's technology, honestly, if I was to go through and tell you, in fact, Casey Ford did a video on this, basically a couple things that the legally blind have to go through, because she's legally blind herself. It's really, really difficult. Modern technology has maybe liberated a lot of people with physical and motor difficulties, but for the legally blind, it's really a challenge. Even if you're totally blind like Tommy Edison is, it's the same problem. He's using voice software that speaks to him and tells him on a screen reader. Okay, I could install a screen reader too. I tried it, but it's built into my Power Mac and my Intel Core 221 Snow Leopard. It's really, really confusing because number one is, how do I know where exactly I am on the screen? If I was totally blind, this would be really a challenge, because it's like, oh my god, how do I know what I'm reading? Having to say me a few characters of a sentence, and graphics don't work necessarily good on screen readers. I don't even know if emojis work good on screen readers. I never tried it with an emoji. Because remember, in the Mac OS 10.6.3 doesn't have a really thick support for emojis. If any, actually. I don't think it does have emojis. So I tried screen reader on my own phone. Same thing. It was like, oh my god, what am I doing? But if my eyes are tired, I will have the phone read me the article, because it's just easier for me. Now we're really getting into another area which we could cover in more detail. I guess I might as well cover that here, because it is related to the kind of equipment upgrade that we're going to get. Because Linux has got several screen readers. I like the way that the Mac does it, because the Mac has a nice voice that sounds good. And I do like the voice of Amazon's Alexa. She sounds nice too. But unfortunately enough, I don't really hear a lot of some screen readers on Linux don't really sound too nice. They sound like they still sound. They're more of a masculine reader. And what happens if you're blind and you got hearing loss? Ouch! Ouch! There you go. That's definitely what it is. Ouch! And you really get double hammered, because now if someone says to you is, well, we can support screen reading and we can read the screen, but if you can't hear the prompts, you might not be any better off. See, when I was a kid, when I went to Arkansas Enterprises Red Blind many years ago, one of the technologies we had was we started getting into screen readers from Street Electronics. Had a screen reader on the Apple IIe, which was I didn't really get into it much. I used it a little bit, but frankly I wasn't like overall impressed with it. I just didn't really get into it. It still sounded like a robot back then, so screen readers were not exactly comfortable. They sound like because of the way they worked. But the biggest problem is that if you're blind and deaf, and I had a friend who was blind and deaf, he had to use an alpha braille display under his keyboard so that he could read the screen. So just like a screen reader, he would be reading a line of braille at one time. So he had the money only to get the 40 cell, and then he upgraded to an 80 cell add-on later. But the main issue is that it's an additional piece of driver. So if he's reading things in text or a PDF book, for example, everything had to be converted between text and braille, and then he would feel the dots on the braille display, which is right below his keyboard. And because of his physical disabilities, with his I don't think it was cerebral palsy, but I'm not sure. One of the things is that he had only a limited amount of control, like just to type, peck, 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 and he can't see it all. So he's like, a lot of times he's not sure if he's typing in the right places. And he kind of like me. He kind of has developed kind of a way of doing things. It just for him it worked. For me, I would never be able to do it his way. If I had ever gone totally blind and deaf, and then I had on top of that a physical condition where I could only move my arms a little bit. I mean, I would have been, oh my God, it would have been like hell. I don't even want to guess how he does it, but he does. But the thing is that for those of you who kind of got upset about December, I want you to understand one thing. And now, like I said, I'm going to have a lot of content here to snip. So, please do not think that if I want you to come back, but I'm going to be honest, because I'm on multiple handicaps, I'm not going to be able to read every single question you post, especially in a live stream. I might miss quite a few of them, okay? But it's not because I'm trying to be stuck-up snob. It's because I really can't see them. But when I read the comments, that's fine, because I can slowly go through the comments. They take longer, but I can read them, and then I can type the comment responses, and then you can read the responses at your leisure. It makes it a little easier. It's a little slower, but it's a little easier for me. And that's the most important thing you have to understand with people who have legal blindness is we can't do everything at once. Today's technology, most of it is designed for the sighted, and it makes it harder for me. All right, guys, I gotta get this up. I gotta get this out, and won't forget, we'll see you tonight at 7 o'clock. So do me a favor, stay out of trouble, and I will see you tonight at 7 o'clock. Okay, bye-bye.